Maya Angelou quote figures prominently in the narrative of Braving the Wilderness, and it comes from an interview she did with Bill Moyers. And I was wondering if you could read it today for us on the show.
Yes. So she says, "You are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high, the reward is great."
Now, this is a line that actually really bugged you for a long time. And I know you spoke to Steve about it at length.
Yeah.
This thing was like a craw in your side.
Oh, it was totally stuck in my craw. I was like, what does that mean? You're only free when you belong nowhere and everywhere. I'm calling bullshit on that. Like, that cannot be true. Like, as someone who craved belonging, I'm like, there's no freedom in not belonging. Like, that's been like a straitjacket, not freedom for me. So there was this moment where I was sitting with Steve just a couple of years ago, and I was going through a big stack of speaking requests. And one of them said, "Please come speak at our church. We really love you. There'll be 3,000 people in the audience. It'll be amazing. We know you're folksy and down home. The only thing we ask is that you not cuss. It'll offend the faithful." And I was like, I won't even say what I said to that, but that would actually offend possibly the faithful. But I was like, what? Like, I'm the faithful. Like, who? Like, and then in the same stack, like 2 requests deeper in the stack, it said Fortune 100 company, because I do like 90% of my work around leadership and culture development, and people don't know that, but that's where I spend most of my time. And they're like, super excited to have you come in and talk to the leadership team about your work. We saw you speak at this retreat. We love what you're saying about vulnerability and innovation and art and creativity. It's super important for our business right now. You did mention that your 2 values that, lead you are faith and courage. And we're wondering if you could omit the faith part and just talk about the courage part. Because in the corporate setting, we don't talk about faith. And I was like, no. And I look at Steve and I'm like, I still, I'm like 40, it's probably 49 at the time, 49. I still belong nowhere. Like, I'm not the church speaker. Completely not the church speaker. I'm not the leadership speaker because I talk about feelings and faith and things that are important to us. I don't belong anywhere. And he's like, yeah, Brené, everywhere you speak, you're like the top rated speaker. Like, like you belong anywhere that you go as long as you're yourself. I'm like, maybe. I mean, I guess I belong everywhere. I belong everywhere. I belong nowhere. Holy shit, the Maya Angelou quote. I was like, oh my God. So I grabbed my laptop. I searched it. I read it to him, and he's like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, it wouldn't make sense, but I think that's true of you. Then I Googled the interview with Bill Moyers because I had never seen the whole thing, just that clip. And so the next question he asks after she says this is, he says, so really, you don't belong anywhere? And she pauses for a second and says, no, actually, I belong to Maya. And I like Maya very much. And I was like, oh my God, I want to belong to Brené. And so I went back in my study and I said, I'm going to look into this thing for a minute. And he's like, should I order dinner? And no, I'll make dinner. You start and you make dinner. He's like, I'm going to order dinner because the last time you said this, it took 2 years. So I'm going to go ahead and order dinner. And so that's when I started the research on belonging.
Yeah, I love that. She says, I like Maya very much. I like the humor and courage very much. And when I find myself acting in a way that doesn't please me, then I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I love that.
She's
love that.
So wise.
Yeah. Yeah.